NSmen who failed their IPPT can take up a new and more convenient training program from next month. 8 Temasek Junior College staff have been hospitalized after eating food prepared by Chili RP Catering. And at the Grammy Awards, Beyonce and Taylor Swift make history, but BTS fails to win. It's 5:30 p.m. here in Singapore. You're watching The Big Story, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. I'm Haryanto Dima. Now you can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode. Singapore Armed Forces and NSmen who cannot pass their IPPT can soon take up a new training program. The National Service Fitness Improvement Training Program, or NSFIT, will replace the current IPPT preparatory training and remedial training programs. The NSFIT program, spread over 10 sessions, will be available from April 1st at 42 locations island-wide and 3 upcoming active SG gyms. This is up from the current 13 sites. Each NSFIT session will last about 60 to 75 minutes. Now, NSmen can choose from existing programs like weight loss, metabolic circuits, and sports or games-based activities. The program will also include an additional option of high-intensity interval training, which will be conducted at 29 new locations. NSmen can participate in these HIIT sessions with friends and family. The 10 sessions will include 1 IPPT attempt to be taken at the NSmen's choosing. Now, if he passes the test before the 10 sessions, he will not need to fulfill the remainder. Registration for the sessions will be available from March 25th through the ns.sg portal. Now, separately, the home team's NSmen will also adopt NSFIT from June. They will be able to undergo fit sessions at home team premises, home team NS clubhouses, and active SG gyms. An update on the COVID-19 situation here. 12 new cases were confirmed today, all imported. Now, they were placed on stay-home notices upon arrival in Singapore. More details will be released tonight. Now, meanwhile, the Health Ministry warned those with acute respiratory symptoms to comply with COVID-19 medical certificate requirements. This after 5 people were charged in court for leaving their homes despite being issued an MC. Meanwhile, Tampines Town Council emerged as the worst performer with an amber rating in the latest official report card for town councils. It showed less than stellar results in corporate governance and estate maintenance. The town council was also the only one with an amber score for corporate governance. The Chua Chu Kang and Aljunied Hougang town councils also received amber ratings in 1 category each, with the former doing badly in arrears management in service and conservancy charges, and the latter underperforming in estate maintenance. 8 Temasek Junior College staff have been hospitalized for gastroenteritis symptoms after eating food prepared by Chili RP Catering last Friday. TJC said they are currently in stable condition. The school added that a total of 43 staff have reported falling ill after eating bento lunch boxes from the caterer. The operations of the catering company is suspended until further notice. A satay seasoning product made by a homegrown manufacturer has been recalled after it was found to contain high levels of a cancer-causing toxin. Aflatoxins can also lead to birth defects or mutations. The Singapore Food Agency has directed the manufacturer to recall all batches of the product that bear the expiry date of January 19, 2022 and are sold in 50 and 500 gram packets. SFA is also conducting investigations into the other peanut products. To quote Beyonce's 2011 hit, "Who Run the World?" Well, in this case, who run the Grammys? Now, 4 women won the top 4 prizes at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards earlier today, and making history was Beyonce, who broke the record for the most Grammy Awards for female artists with her 28th win. Now, she won Best R&B Performance for Black Parade, Best Music Video for Brown Skin Girl, as well as Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song for Savage with Megan Thee Stallion. Now, Beyonce officially beat beating out Alison Krauss for the most Grammys awarded to a female artist. She also ties Quincy Jones for second place among all Grammy winners. The other big awards went to Taylor Swift, who became the first female performer to win Album of the Year 3 times. Billie Eilish picked up Record of the Year for the second straight time, and Megan Thee Stallion became the first female rapper to win Best Rap Song. Now, joining me now to talk about the award show is the Straits Times' music correspondent Dino Abdul Hadi. Dino, it's a big year for the female artists in the music industry, sweeping the top awards of the night. Now, of course, women have won all top 4 awards in the past, but this year marked the first time they went to 4 separate and solo women. For a start, Dino, can we have your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the first thing that I thought when when I saw the winners list and there's so many women, you're right. It's not the first time that women have swept all the 4 awards, but it's very close to 2018. It was just 3 years ago that the former president of the Academy, he made this comment that people saw was very condescending to women. He said that women artists needed to step up, and then there were a lot of people who were angry because it sounded like he was throwing a challenge and he was talking down to women artists. And this year you've got Beyonce, you've got Billie Eilish, you've got Taylor Swift, you've got Megan Thee Stallion, and you've also got her. She won Best Song of the Year, which is Song of the Year, which is like one of the major awards. So yeah, I think it's very significant. It seems like the Grammys have listened to all the complaints. They've listened and they've actually take action in awarding the winners to the deserving artists.
Right. And one of the upsets of the night was crowd favorite BTS's missing out on their bid to win a first Grammy Award despite a breakthrough year in the US. Now, the K-pop band lost to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande for Best Pop Duo or Group Performance. Was that a big surprise, Dino? And were there any other surprises?
Well, it was kind of 50-50 for me. I wanted them to win. I was rooting for them to win. You want to see an Asian act go up there and pick up the Grammy to represent all of Asia. And obviously BTS is huge, not just in Asia, but we know this for a fact around the world, US, Europe. It's not strictly an Asian audience. So I understand the disappointment. You go online after they lost, and people were like, the general feeling, like I also felt that the Grammys are taking advantage of BTS popularity. They put them on the show, they get them to perform, they put them in the nominee list, and the millions and millions of the BTS army K-pop fans are going to tune in and going to watch, and they're going to talk about this. But they didn't win, so that was the general consensus, that you want their popularity to boost the Grammy ratings, but at the same time they're not deserving of a win. So I think there was, so I guess, that's an upset. That's definitely an upset.
Right. And were there any other things that stick out to you for the night? Any other surprises?
Well, I was watching the whole show, and this year, during the televised section, Grammys are broken up into 2. The earlier part, the non-televised version, where they give out most of the awards, and the televised 3-hour show where they give out the main awards. And there was only one award for country music. There was one by Miranda Lambert, and I was expecting to see more because that's what usually happens in previous years. There were a couple of performances by artists, including Miranda Lambert, but it seems like a little bit less country this year on the main show, on the main televised show, and a lot more hip hop and R&B, which are the genres that are huge among contemporary music fans, among younger music fans. So I think that kind of stuck out for me.
And of course, another thing that is new this year is the format. Now, due to the pandemic, a hybrid ceremony of live and pre-recorded performance, and without the usual audience of thousands of musicians and industry executives. But Dino, did this year's show and performances still live up to the usual fanfare?
I actually liked it. I thought it was a refreshing change, It makes the Grammys a bit more intimate. It all took place in one venue, in the Los Angeles Convention Center, but I think in different rooms. So the main prize-giving ceremony was at this area, which looked a little bit like it was an outdoorsy area. small stage, a few tables. You can see a few tables. The artists are sitting there, round tables with very few artists. They're all socially distanced. They're all wearing masks. So I thought that it's it's very refreshing for me. I've been watching Grammys for, like I said, 20 years, and it's something visually different. Um, Performances wise, the Grammys didn't exactly say like which parts were live, which parts were pre-recorded, but you kind of get a sense that they have a bit more leeway in terms of stage setups. For example, the Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak performance, they did this very 70s kind of a feel to the performance, and you can see all these like amazing lights behind. It looks like you're watching some show from the 70s. So I thought that the artists probably became a little bit more creative, knowing that they don't have to perform on the same stage where they're giving out the awards. They don't necessarily have to have everything live and done at the exact same moment as everything else.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dino, for setting aside time to speak with me. I've been speaking to music correspondent Dino Abdul Hadi. Now you can read all about the winners for this year's Grammys on straitstimes.com. In this week's edition of Invisible Asia, we cast the spotlight on China's short-term labourers and the hardships that they face. The Straits Times' China correspondent Denson Chong profiles one rural migrant who moved to a big city hoping to seek a better life.
This is Wei Xiaoqiang. He is one of the millions of migrant workers living in Beijing. Since leaving his home in the northeastern province of Jilin about 20 years ago, he has worked in cities across China, taking on menial labor for low wages. Arriving in Beijing in late 2020, Xiaoqiang has worked short-term odd jobs from the Majuqiao labor market.
问他，你这份还用不用人？找没找到人？如果没找到人，我们去报名，告诉什么时候去干活，然后就去。
China correspondent Denson Chong joins me now from Beijing to share more on this. Hi Denson. Denson, is Mr. Wei's story a microcosm of a wider migrant worker issue in China? I mean, what were you hoping to highlight from this?
Well, you're right. I think Wei Xiaoqiang's story is very typical of a growing group of migrant workers in China. These are sort of day wage laborers, who have to look for work day by day to earn their keep. According to official statistics, there are something like 200 million rural migrant workers in China. There are no official numbers on how many of them are sort of day wage laborers, but the trends are, and what experts say is that this group is growing. Because of COVID-19, I think more factories are sort of hiring workers on a short-term basis. I think automation also means that a lot of these sort of lower skilled jobs, there are less of these jobs available. So I really wanted to sort of flesh out the kinds of hardships that these workers who are really at the bottom of the food chain here in China face. The lifestyle, I think, sometimes has sort of been romanticized as having a lot of freedom to work whenever you want to work and party with the money that you've earned. But why would anybody want to work under such conditions? I think that the truth is these workers work under such conditions because they simply cannot find anything else, and then they come to cities looking for a better life, and then they are stuck in this sort of endless cycle of looking for work day by day and unable to have any kind of upward mobility. The fact that they work without employment contracts usually means that they live at risk of wage arrears. They don't have social security contributions, and they not protected by accident insurance and things like that. So it's a real sort of precarious existence. And I think it's hard for us to kind of imagine this sort of lack of job security, their subsistence lifestyle, how they have to sort of look for work day by day. In Beijing today, we woke up to this very terrible sandstorm, and it just sort of reminded me that these are sort of the workers who don't have a choice, and have to go out and work outside in these hazardous conditions in order to earn a living.
So Denson, that said, what sort of help, if any at all, is extended to protect workers like Mr. Wei, either from the government or labour rights group?
At the moment, I think the truth is, I think China is not doing a lot to help these people. These workers are mostly between 20 to 40, mostly young men, and they generally, I think, fall above China's official poverty line, which is about $3 Singapore a day thereabouts. And so they don't qualify for the sort of direct support under the poverty alleviation program. But I think China is sort of increasingly waking up to the reality that they have to sort of do something for these workers who come to the cities and find that they cannot do any other work but sort of these most sort of informal odd jobs. I think they realize if they don't address this problem, if this group grows bigger, and then it can lead to sort of social issues further down the line. And I think recently there's been sort of this focus on what in China is termed as rural revitalization, which basically it is a project to provide opportunities and development to rural areas and find ways for these sort of rural migrants to earn a living and have some sort of upward mobility back in their hometowns without them coming to the cities.
Thanks, Denson, and that was China correspondent Denson Cheong on the latest episode of the Invisible Asia series. Now, you can read his story on straitstimes.com and watch the full video on Mr. Wei Xiaoqiang on ST's Facebook and YouTube channel. Now, those are top stories for today. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below. Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman, and I will be back with Olivia Quay tomorrow, so we'll see you then.